What's going on, everybody? Hopefully you guys are having an awesome day. Just want to start off by saying thank you. I appreciate the support on the channel. I appreciate the support on Instagram and Patreon and all the other social medias. So, it takes a lot of time to try to do the videos and trying to make them correct and putting them out there just so the world can see it. So it's kind of stressful. A little bit nervous, but again, I appreciate all of the positivity that you guys give me, the good feedback, a lot of the help on the morphs, understanding what's going on with the animals, because I'm definitely new at it. You guys know I'm new at it. You guys know that it's a learning curve, and there's a lot that goes into it. There's a lot that goes into the animals in the room. I have to say, taking care of the animals is easy. It's making videos is the most difficult part of it, and putting out the content and putting out what I'm doing, because there's a ton of criticism that I did get in the past, still get, but 99% of it is positivity. So I appreciate that from you guys. I had somebody ask me to do another video or to make a video on the green anacondas and the keeping and what goes into them and stuff like that, which I have no problem explaining any of that stuff to anybody, because like I said, I'm new at keeping snakes. I've been keeping snakes for about 5 years. I'm not an expert by any means on any topic of anything. So I think you guys could agree with me that the more we interact with these animals and we spend time with them every day, we learn more and more about them and what they need and what they like, what they don't like, what, their attitudes, if they're gonna be agitated by something you do, or if they are in a good mood that day, they'll come out and hang out with you, and then you won't have any issues. So on the green anacondas, I'm definitely new with them. I have two females, and I've learned a lot from them from just buying them. There's not a lot of in-depth, from what I can find, in-depth care sheets on green anacondas, which I'm really not sure why. I know a lot of people do keep them. Definitely not as many people keep them or make videos or stuff about them as ball pythons or boas or berms or anything else, king snakes. But if you guys have any questions about the green anacondas, I will do my best to help you out on what I know and what I've dealt with by keeping both of them. And so let's just check them out really fast. So we'll go on the smaller one first, my younger one, which is 2020. And I've learned a lot about her just having her in the last year. So this is the ARS 7030. I'm not saying that what I do is ideal. I'm not saying this is the best setups for them. I'm just doing what is working for me at the moment right now. So if you're new to the channel, I appreciate it. And if you've stuck around, then you know a little bit about Mountain Dew right here. So she gave me and us a little scare 2 months ago, maybe 3 months ago, and she was almost on the brink of death. So her skin was basically so like bad on her. It was basically falling off of her bones, and I didn't know what was going on. I had some help from John Chosmer. He gave me some medicine that really helped her out. Ended up taking her to a vet as well, and said that she had intestinal air pockets, which she was eating, but she was regurgitating, so she wasn't keeping any weight on her. Had to give her medicine every day, liquid oral medicine with a injection, which was not pleasant, but there's videos on that if you want to look them up on the page. So she is in this rack just so I can monitor her, see how she's doing. Obviously, a lot of people will say this is not good to put an anaconda in, but you can see her size. She's pretty small. She did have the little issues on the feeding. We can see that she is pretty good on her temperaments. So they have the little water dish that comes with it, which I don't think is ideal for a green anaconda. I do believe green anacondas do need some sort of water area more than than this. I mean, that's good for boas, ball pythons. That's perfectly fine. I personally believe that this is good enough. She did drag a bunch of her bedding in here, so it does look a little bit dirty, and I will fill this up. But I think this is good enough. She can sit in there, she can soak, she can get the water that she needs. And I did notice a couple weeks ago that her skin was starting to look a little messed up like it was in the beginning when she was having her issues. But she's eating, she's keeping food down, and that's really the positive thing about her right now. So she's 99% better, probably 100% better, but just keeping her in here is fine. Like if you get a baby green anaconda, you can keep her in a rack system, or you can keep her in tubs like that with just the simple locking lids. No problems at all. You don't need an 8-foot cage for a snake this size. They're basically just like any other snake. They like small confined areas. So if you are going to have a massive enclosure, make sure you put a lot of hides in there, branches and stuff like that, just so they can hide at least a little bit and feel secure, especially when they're at a younger age. So temperament on her, you can see that she's pretty good. I haven't had any issues with her. I know a lot of people say that they have green anacondas that are pretty bad on the temperament, but honestly, I've been handling her and my other one, which we'll go to here in a little bit, basically every day since I've had them. So just trying to make a bond with them is the most important thing, because you definitely don't want a big snake to have any issues with you. So having them trust you is a big thing. Trusting them, knowing their body language, which really just like any other snake out there, you'll know when they get agitated. You'll know when they don't want to be touched or held or something like that. But in the reality of it, it's no different than any of my other boas. Heat-wise, the exact same as my boas and my ball pythons. Humidity-wise, the exact same. They do have a lot of the water, so the humidity is a little bit higher than normal, but they don't need anything ridiculous. They do live in South America, where most of the other boas live as well. So, 70-ish on the humidities, I'd say is perfectly fine. If you want to mist them or spray them down, that's fine too. Just kind of like acting like it's raining, because, they are a water snake, and they do enjoy being in the water and around water more than any of the other snakes, I would say, than the boas or the ball pythons. So that is my younger female, and then I have my older female, my 2019. And we can go on the food topic right now. So one of the biggest things that I noticed about these animals is feeding. When they're smaller, they love birds. They love birds. They'll eat fish. Both of my anacondas had a really hard time swapping over to mice or rats. So with Pop-Tart right here, it took her about 6-ish months to swap over to rats, and she was just eating, basic chickens or quail. And then Mountain Dew over here is a year old, and she just ate her first rat for me last week. So if you buy it, I would say 9 out of 10 times, don't expect them to eat a mouse or a rat if you just buy them as babies. Sometimes they eat live, so you'd have to buy a live chick. Mountain Dew, when I first got her, she was eating live day-old chicks, which is pretty big, and she really didn't have any issues with that at all. Quail is perfectly fine, 3 to 4 day old quail. But like I said, her first meal that I could get her to eat was a day-old chick, live chick. She had no problems with that, and then eventually I got her over to frozen thawed, and then she ate the frozen thawed rat her last meal. So I'm not sure if she's going to be stuck on I hope she's stuck on rats. But if she's on birds for a little bit and kind of going back and forth, that's perfectly fine as well. So this is Pop-Tart's cage. Big water dish for her. Big, almost 9-foot cage, 3 feet deep. I mean, you don't need these cages right away for these animals. They do get big, but they don't get big that fast. So they do grow a lot faster than the normal boas. Like, I'll try to get her out. I don't know how her temperament is, but her at 2, she's about the same size as my 3 to 4-year-old boas. So they definitely grow fast, quicker than a lot of other types of snakes. Well, berms grow fast and reed ticks grow fast as well. But she's really not wanting to come out. And she's got a good size on her for being 2. I've noticed though that they only shed maybe 2 to 3 times a year when they're growing up. So it's not like the boas where they shed almost every month. At least that's what I've noticed. And I do try to feed these snakes, not adequate meals, nothing too ridiculous, nothing too big. And then I space out their meals as well. So she's on medium rats every 2-ish weeks, 2 to 3 weeks. And we'll try to get her out. But the one thing that I will say about the main thing that I don't like about green anacondas is that they pretty much go to the bathroom every day in their water. So every day I have to clean out their water dishes, and it makes it a little bit easier with them going to the bathroom in the water. But when they have a big water system, and it can be a little much, especially because this one holds, I think it's like 13 gallons, and so I don't have a drain on it at all. So here's Pop-Tart right here, and she's 2, so she's actually really big for. No, I'm not gonna say really big, but she's big for 2. I will just say she's big for 2. But she's really nice. She's calm. I haven't had any issues with her either. So I'm not gonna say I've been lucky on their temperaments, but I have put a lot of time and energy in both of these snakes. And so as adults, I've never held an adult anaconda. I've never been around an adult anaconda. I know that they do get big. I know that they are very strong. I've done some research on anacondas, and as of right now, there is no recordable death anywhere of a green anaconda killing humans in the wild. So, I mean, it's all, jungle folklore or anything like that. Now, I can't say anything about the retics in Asia, but as far as I know and what I've researched, they're not man-eaters, and they're not going to hurt you on purpose. Now, there have been some circumstances where big snakes have injured or killed people in captivity. I think since from the 70s, there's actually only been maybe 17 or 20 people that actually died from big constrictors. And it's not that the snake wanted to kill them. It's just that when big snakes are lifted onto people's shoulders and they hang around their neck or around their body too tight, it's a big-bodied animal. Retics, berms, anacondas, they don't feel comfortable being up on a human because we're not as sturdy as trees are. So, they're going to grab onto you and they're not going to want to fall. So when they grab onto you and squeeze, it's to hang on so they don't fall. And then we as humans are fragile, and they cut off the circulation, and then we don't come back to life. So, and then we die. So that's really what it is. It's just mishandling of big snakes. It's not it's not snakes trying to kill humans or eat humans or anything like that in captivity. But you'll see a bunch of Google sites that say anacondas get 30 feet plus, 500-600 pounds. And honestly, I've never seen an anaconda, a full-grown female, over 16 feet. There's people that have 20-year-old anacondas that they can get up to 200 pounds. They can get up to 16, 17 feet, which is huge. But again, you have to feed them right. You have to feed them appropriately. You can get these snakes extremely obese, extremely fat, extremely overweight, and then they have health problems, and then they die early. They have kidney failures, heart failures, and all this other stuff. So, I mean, that's kind of the one thing that you see a lot on YouTube is people who own big snakes. Most of them are overweight because big snakes get views and big snakes draw crowds. But you can have a 14, 15 foot anaconda at 100 pounds or 150 pounds and it's healthy. So, I mean, it's just like humans. Humans can get 900 pounds, but is that normal or average? No, it's not. So anacondas, they're not 600 pounds just hanging out in somebody's basement or bedroom or whatever. But I mean, 150 pound, 160, 70 pound, full body muscle anacondas, nothing to joke around about. So definitely gonna have to be super cautious, be careful. If you are a keeper of a gray anaconda, it is best to have somebody help you. But if you don't have somebody help you, you just have to be really smart about it. Don't put the snake above your shoulders. Don't put it around your neck. Don't do something that could cause an accident for you or the snake. Like, you just have to be smart about it. I mean, if you have to pick the snake halfway up and drag it around, that's probably the best situation that you're going to have to do. You're not always going to have somebody with you to clean out a cage or something like that, but always have a hook. You can get massive hooks. You don't need any accidentally feeding responses with a snake this size or at 10 feet. But I mean, if you're actually looking into getting an anaconda, I would say 100% do your research on them. They're fantastic animals. I would say they're my favorite animals. I mean, they're just super sweet, super calm, very, very rewarding to work with, and they get big just like a Burman or retic. So, I mean, if you like big snakes, I would say if you have $1,000, $1,200, $1,300, just try to buy a anaconda, get it as a baby, work with her, bond with them. I mean, snakes can bite at any time. I'm not going to say they can't. Anything with teeth can bite, but you just have to be smart with it, like I said. So I don't know what else there is to really talk about on these animals other than what I've talked about. So, I mean, obviously the bigger the enclosure, the better it would be for us as humans to see a snake interacting in. But realistically, most of the time you're going to get an 8x3 or a 10x3. 10x3, if you go 12 and higher, I mean, that's perfectly fine. But realistically, breeders keep full-grown green anacondas, females, in 6x3s or 8x2s or 8x3s, and you know, I mean, they really don't have that big of a deal. And I mean, if you have this snake as a pet, you're going to interact with it anyways, so you're going to have it out all the time. So it doesn't really need a 10x5 or 10x4 if it's out of its cage in the backyard or in the living room or the basement or wherever you guys keep it. But definitely highly recommend a gray anaconda. So hopefully you guys enjoyed the video. I know this was super, super long, but we'll just show you real quick about the size difference. So, you know, I've been feeding them as they want to eat, nothing ridiculous. So hopefully they don't get out at once. So this is a year-old, and this is the 2-year-old. So pretty big size difference on them, as you can see. But they don't have any issues with each other. So that is it. Hopefully you guys have an awesome day, and I will see you guys on the next video.